Okay. Oh, we are recording. Hello, hello, hello. Halima LaPlante here, your wild wolf mama. And let me tell you, it has been a crazy, crazy, heavy week for me. And I think for a lot of people, I feel like people are coming to me with a lot of these same kind of themes of just like heart stuff, like worth stuff, love stuff, self love stuff, which of course is my jam. And as such, me in particular, it's been really fucking heavy. My mind has been spiraling so hard. And I struggle with my spiraling mind because it goes around and around and around, and it beats me up and it knocks me down. And I know that it's not real. I know that it's not real. But here I am having this mental experience, this mental anxiety. And I hate it. Because I don't know what to do with that energy. It takes me to some dark places. And I spoke to a friend this week, and it was interesting, right? Because a lot of people are coming to me with like a lot of, more obvious heart stuff, romantic stuff. And it's got me thinking. And a friend of mine came to me, and she was talking to me about, and in fact, actually, I'm going to go more deep into that. I'm recording this first, but I'm going to write my blog next after this. And so I highly encourage you to read that, because in that I'm going to talk about what I experienced physically. So my friend came to me and she was talking about how trauma gets held and it gets stuck in the body. Right? So we have all these psychologists who are trying to talk therapy people and get into the mind space and all of these things. But she was talking about what really is helpful for people is to get into the body. That is where the trauma is stored. And it's interesting because it struck such a chord with me. What she was talking about is something that I have been talking about for a while, a little bit. I mean, not years. I feel like I'm newly into this stuff, newly coming into this stuff and trying to share it with people. And this is the idea that when emotions come up, when feelings come up, you lean into those feelings and you allow yourself the time and the space to experience that. Because at the end of this, there's going to be a lesson for you. And I know this, right? I have talked about this here. But there are some places where I haven't allowed myself to experience that fully. And I'm going to go more into that into the blog. Out of that experience, that's what I want to talk about here. I really suggest that, you go and check out the blog that's associated with this. Because I'm going to go deeper into my experience of, taking that lesson that I already had and applying it to other areas of my life. But my mind was still spiraling. At one point this week, I even got in the fucking car and left the house, drove to the river, drove up the river, went across a bridge, drove back down, pulled over on the side, sat there and spoke to the river. And I remember just holding myself, loving myself. I put my hands here on my heart. What is that noise? Anyway, here in my heart. And just looking myself right in the eyes and saying, I love you. You can do this. You and I, we are in this together. Through thick and thin, I will support you. And And allowing myself to feel held and supported by myself. And then going to that river and speaking to the river, making promises to myself to the river. But still, there was something untouched. My mind was going around and around and around and saying all these things about my worth, how unworthy I am, unlovable I am. Touching on all those fears. Triggering myself. But the thing is, what I finally came to realize after going through this whole process, just today, I sat down in my journal because I knew there was something more, and there's still more. And I realized that maybe all this spiraling that my mind is doing, because the mind is useful, it has a purpose. And I think what the purpose of the mind is to take what you physically experience as you walk through time and space and interacting with everyone else who's walking through time and space, to take that experience and to make sense of it, to find the patterns, and to take that and turn it into, a story, turn it into something that you can express to people. Like, this is what I learned from the experience. And maybe through you having that experience and imparting that experience to others, maybe that is your outer authority that you can give to other people to help enrich their lives, to help inspire them and their own minds. But what happens with the spiraling is that you go through this process in the body, this lived experience in the body, and then you stop it, some kind of way, or you're afraid of it, you kind of push it down. It's not a complete process, or maybe you're still in the middle of processing it. And the mind is confused because all this information is coming in. There's all this confusion, all this information. It's trying to sort through things. It doesn't quite have a clue what the fuck. And it's just trying to understand the experience and conceptualize the experience and be able to turn it into something that you can manifest out into the world. And I don't mean manifest as in, well, maybe I do mean create. Maybe that's part of it. But I just mean speak out into the world the thought, the concept, the idea, the whole experience, the learned thing that you went through. But when you're in the middle of it, or you don't let yourself finish through it, your mind just keeps spiraling and making things up and trying to bring clarity to the confusion. I think that's so interesting. And when you don't let yourself fully complete the physical process of going through the experience, and you cut it off, you shove it down, you try and cover it up with happiness, whatever that is. This is a thing that we do. This is like a I can't think of the word, but it's like a thing that we do to try to I can't think of the word. It just left. Cover up our pain, cover up the experience that we're trying not to have. A coping technique, right? Coping technique. This is a coping technique that we consciously create in order to put a Band-Aid over or make sense of the experience without fully experiencing it, without fully processing it. And what it actually does is it gets stuck in the body. And when your mind starts to spiral off of that, because of course everything put into darkness must come into the light, your mind starts to spiral. And when you spiral, it's attached to emotions, feelings. And I believe that if you follow that thread down, right? And I've talked about this before. You follow that thread down and you will get to some juicy insight hidden and tucked away in your body. This week, I have had incredible, pain in my neck, pain in my shoulder here on the left side, right next to my heart. Dealing with all this heart stuff. A physical incarnation of the stuff that I am bringing up and dredging up. And you have to go through that darkness to bring it into light in order to be able to transmute it into something juicy and delicious and lovely. Oops. Something fell. And beautiful. And hopefully you understand that it is beautiful. This thing that came out of you is beautiful. You got to go through this experience. It helped shape you, who you are right now in this now moment. Even the part where you tried to cover it up and pretend like it didn't exist and hide it away and coping mechanisms and da 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 da. Even that is beautiful because it is you and you have the strength to handle it. Now maybe what you have locked away inside of you is so big and so scary. Maybe what you get to do is uncover it in sections. More and more and more. Make the container bigger somehow. So that it flows through easily, right? And trickles out, pours out of you. Go through that process. And how you go through that process is an individual thing. I believe that many different people have many different ways of possibly going through it, right? Like me, I like to journal. I know people who like to dance, move their bodies, breath work. There's a number of ways to work this out of your body. You've got to find what works for you, and you'll know. You'll know. That's the great thing about, for me, it's about human design, is because it gives you the ability to know what choice to make. And it's not with the mind. The mind is here to share the experience, the learned experience that you have with others. But what it tries to do as it's going through and making sense of the confusion is it tries to say, well, this is the pattern. That means that we should do this next time. And that was a big one for me because I've heard this before and I understood it. But now it's like I'm experiencing the mind putting together the patterns so that it can make the decisions. It can make me do the action. And that's not what it's here for. I've been learning about being a 6-line being. The first third of your life, you're a third line being, and you're making a lot of mistakes, but you're also very, you can handle the mistakes. And now I'm on the roof. But as I come off the roof, I have to be very careful about the choices that I make. I can't continue to live life under, this third line theme, with these third line themes that I had in my 20s. I can't let those, guide me, because they may not be correct. Maybe they are, they may not be. And maybe this idea that I've developed over time about my worth and, romantic love and all of these things, it's very scary to me. But maybe I can't hold on to that anymore. The mind wants to hold on to that, because it's like, danger, Will Robinson, you're going to fall in love. And it's going to be a fucking disaster. So don't fall in love. Because that's the pattern that the mind has seen and has recognized and is looking for all the time. And I can share my experiences with that, absolutely. But really what all of that was about was I needed to grow into a place where, right now where I am, where I can start exploring loving myself, knowing my own worth, supporting myself, giving myself what I need, which is a different story than, what I would have said before. The spiraling mind using itself to make the choices. You make the choices from the spiraling mind. You take the actions from the spiraling mind. And you're just going to get more of the same, because you haven't figured it out yet. You haven't figured out why the mind is spiraling. You haven't followed that thread on through the emotions down into the body to figure out what it is that is causing the confusion, that is causing your mind to spiral. That is the big stuff. You don't make your choices from the spiraling mind. The mind is just there to, I could just go round and round in circles. I am going round and round in circles talking about it. If you don't have it, please contact me, message me. Let's talk about this. Let's discuss this. I imagine this is an idea that's going to get even deeper for me, that I'm going to understand at an even deeper level. I'm going to watch my mind do its thing and understand why it can't be trusted to make decisions. I feel like month after month I'm getting deeper into this. Yeah. How long is this so far? All right, we're at 20 minutes. I think that's good. I hope that this has helped some people. I highly suggest, if you haven't, go check out the written post that goes along with this. I'll put the link down in the, I don't want to say comments, but the description. As well as all my other, my link tree with all my links and everything. But I hope that this touched some of you. I hope that my journey is helping some people. It's certainly helping me to be able to talk about it, because it really helps me to solidify all these ideas and this information inside of myself. And I get practice in being able to talk about it and bring it to people in a way that I hope you can understand. If you can understand, if you can relate, if it brings up stories, or, if there's an aha moment, please share that with me. Don't leave me out here in the dark. I need to know that I'm reaching people. Y'all are so quiet. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.